Big
Ha. Welcome, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I'll pass along the message. Okay. Thank
okay.
you very much. All right, goodbye. Oh, sorry about that.
Pass along the message. That
Yeah,
sounds
I got a message
important.
for everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
I was just on the phone with the National Archives, and they would all like you to check your pockets, your drawers, your hiding places, anything hanging up in your closets. They want you to check to see if you have any classified documents, any top secret
Oh, can I?
documents.
Oh, there are some pockets I want to check. Can I be on the frisk committee, please? A
Ah,
bear. A bear
I'm just
needs.
telling you what they told me. They wanted everybody in this country to check their pockets and their
Oh.
hidey holes and all that. And so we all should find all those classified documents we walked off with
Exactly.
for 12 years and didn't know we had.
I'm telling you, Chris, that's about where it's at with the National Archives. They've got to leave it up to everybody else because apparently they don't know what policy and procedure are. They're not being very good at taking care of their own here.
I have
Like,
heard, and this is just a rumor, but I have heard that the Library of Congress is now taking over the National Archives, and you can just go in and check out what
the
documents you want.
Library of Congress, you just take it out. Here's your library card. Like it's like you could no, it is quite ridiculous. And it's actually very serious, and I'm making fun just because that's so damn funny. First of all, the fact that they're calling you, like did
What
they
can I
not
say?
see what you said? Oh no, that was a private DM. They didn't see what you
No,
said about them.
they didn't see what I said.
No,
Trust me.
but yeah, it was lit. Because I'm with you on it. Like, I don't think the responsibility is actually on these presidents. Although I will say that one of these things is not like the others. I
Hey,
will say that. Like, there's a
I am not going to
boundary.
take anything away from what the Orange Man did.
No, because like
But for
it's
the
not the
rest
same
of them,
thing.
I'm also
Intent
not
and the
going to
willingness.
relieve them of their duties to hand
Exactly.
in these documents.
Yes, could you go? Yes, could everybody just please check your pockets? And if you don't want to check your own pockets, a certain one of you, you can come see me later. I'll do it for you. Perfectly okay. And we have
But
volunteers.
it proves that this system is broken. It really does. When you
It
can give a
does.
top secret document to a person in the government and walk
Mhm.
away, that means
Mhm.
it's broken. They, I'm sorry. If it's a top secret especially if it's, oh, I don't know, nuclear missile codes and shit
Oh
like that,
yes. Uh-huh.
I think there
Well,
should be an escort who
okay.
stands there with the fucking document.
Exactly. It's
You
all
know,
about procedure and how
you
it
can
should be
read that,
done.
yes, but I'm
Mhm.
going to stand here and make sure you don't copy it, make
Mhm.
sure you don't take it home. If you want to read it tomorrow, I'll bring it back, but it's going back to the goddamn vault
Yes.
tonight.
Beck said he hasn't consented, so we can't search him until we get
Oh,
consent.
come on,
Mhm.
Beck.
We're
You're no
asking for
fun.
volunteers, Beck. I will search no pocket that's not consented to. I swear, I'm not like that. I'm just saying. I volunteer to help you with your searches, people. A bear needs to find her phone where she can find her phone. What can I say? It's just
and Commander's making a good point that there's a difference between how Trump handled it, how Biden's
yeah.
handled it, how all the other past presidents have handled it,
Mhm. Exactly.
but that doesn't absolve them
It
of the
doesn't.
consequences of what they've done. They know that
Well,
there are documents that they have.
that's right.
I don't
And
understand
it's all
why
in
they
how
don't
you
just go through them all and then
exactly.
hand them
Get
in.
it over
Just
with. Like,
get them, and
it's become
why do you even
popular.
walk out of the White House with them? Is what
Hey,
I'm.
and it's getting you in the news, people. Just everybody just go check your boxes, your attics, your garages, your trunks, your offices at home. Pull them in, have them look at it, get your name in the paper for it. Do the right thing. I don't see a problem because it's all in how you handle it. You know it's an issue. You know the system failed. Okay. So let's just handle it. And
Yeah,
those that are
and
doing it, like let's just say Biden and Pence, who actually did it properly. Oh, somebody said there's some documents. Yo, call everybody in. Let's just take care of this right now. Come get them. I don't want them. They belong to you. Come get them.
right.
Which is not exactly with the year-long process that we went through with Trump, with them contacting him and him saying, no, they belong to me. You can't have them. And no, they're
Right,
not
and
there.
it's
Or
not that
no,
Trump
I'll
tried to
turn them in.
hide the fact that he had them. He
Hide
didn't.
them. He had a
He
lawyer
said they're
submit a
mine.
document.
These are mine. I'm keeping them.
Exactly. And then he
And
sent the
for the
lawyer
year,
that said you got everything that
yeah,
you
well,
deserve. And then they
and
search and
she's
they
now
find
got $1 million
all
judgment against her
oh
for
yeah,
that
exactly.
shit.
She got and not to mention other lawyers. Like, yeah, I'm kind of happy about the sanctioned lawyer thing because frivolous lawsuits is just something
Yeah,
lawyers should not be part of.
but I mean,
Yeah.
Trump did try and hide them. We got that.
Yeah.
That
And
is
that's
a
the
whole different
difference.
thing. That is
Yes.
a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. Let me show you because I found a cute little,
Here we go.
I was too lazy to
By
make my own.
memes again, aren't we?
Yeah, this is not mine. Oh, where'd Quiz go? Oh, there he is. Sorry, Quiz. I'm a little punchy. I'm a little punchy. Okay, you might not be able to see this great, but basically, says that for Joe Biden versus Trump. First of all, you could tell there's a lot more writing on the Trump side. Okay, for Joe Biden, there were 10 classified documents. A few were top secret, compared to over 325 documents, nearly 200 of them classified. Many
Hmm.
top secret, including TS and SCI and nuclear secrets. Okay.
Hmm.
Biden was unaware they were commingled with personal items. Donald Trump says they were stored in unsecured location at Trump Resort, Mar-a-Lago, known to be frequented by spies. And then Joe Biden cooperated fully. The documents were not the subject of any archives inquiry. Lawyers notified archives and the DOJ on the same day to come and get
Right.
them and follow process.
And that is what you're supposed to do.
Whereas the DOJ had to subpoena Donald Trump, it was ignored. He was moving boxes after the subpoena. He lied, falsely claiming that he declassified the documents. Lawyers falsely claimed all documents were returned. Purposely removed documents from folders, lied, claiming documents were his. FBI forced to raid Mar-a-Lago after a year. This went on for almost a year, more than a year. He violated the Espionage Act and Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 793E, for willfully retaining documents. Now, here's the
Right.
difference: willfully saying, mine, you can't have them. That is why it's criminal. That's why he's got charges on him.
Exactly. And
That's the difference.
and
Okay.
Slee does make
Mhm.
a good point here. He
Yep.
says he can categorically say that no ex-presidents have nuclear codes, and I think he's right. I do believe that
Uh huh.
the nuclear codes are changed with every onset of the president,
Yes.
um,
Hmm.
and they do that for a particular reason. I mean, you don't want to have a president with working nuclear codes or an ex-president with working nuclear codes because he'll just if his name's Donald, he'll just go sell them.
No, I see. I see. Can you see? Are you on your phone or your PC?
I'm on my PC. I'm always on my PC.
All right, look over there to the message I just sent you and just type me an answer while I'm working on this. Hey, Icarus, let me just say hi. You know what? I've got some friends in the chat that spent all day with me. Let me just say hi to Anna and What the Beck and Autistic Shield and Verillion. Thank you so much for coming back. I mean, how you like me? You want to hang out. Peter, it's nice to see you again. Charlie, it's nice for you to come by too. April, it's nice to see you. Michael Ferguson, Sleet, it's nice to see you. You're back for more. Commander 401, thank you for coming by. And let me see. Icarus. Did I say that right? Is it Icarus or is it Icarus? Like, I always wonder. And yo, Jared. Jared's in the chat. Yep. Hey, you know what? Jared, where you want to come up, tell me where you want it, boo. I'll send you a link. Because I would like to hear, if you promise not to yell my head off, I would like to hear your opinion about this.
Hmm?
I think Quiz and I could use a little help with this.
Oh, I don't mind.
Definitely.
No, no.
Absolutely.
And he's right. I mean, Biden
Hmm.
also came out and said, "Well, we looked. You've got all our documents," but they were still looking while he
That's
said
right.
that,
And they were
which he
willing
was stupid
willing.
for doing that.
Yeah, but they
He was
say, well,
stupid
let's.
for coming out and saying, "You got them all, but they're still looking." Look,
Hmm.
if they're still looking, we don't know if they've got them all.
Hmm.
That's how I should put it. He should have gone up and said, "We are still looking. What we
Hmm.
have found, we have turned over."
Right.
Period. That should
Period.
be the answer.
Let's. Yep. I would say that he may have just misspoke. I mean, he's not been very elegant in his speaking later, but we're talking about Joe Biden here. He never was. Like, he was the guy that was going to take you behind the bleachers and punch you out if you all don't remember. Like, I remember. I remember him as a congressman. I remember all of that. So, you know, I would say he's never really been the best with delicate speeches or anything. He's no Obama that way at all.
No.
So you know, where do I find I'm looking for Jared all over the place in my
He is not
No,
on
he's
right
not
now.
he's
He'll
not
be home in
home right
10.
now. That's what he
So
said. Oh,
he
I know
said,
where to
"Go ahead and
find
put it
him.
in Discord."
Yeah, I am. Now I know where to find him because he's in that other message that we all have.
Gotcha.
Then I can find him in there.
Yep.
Cause you got a weird name for me. There it is. It's got like little things on it and everything.
Little two dots and the and you're supposed to say it like a
Mm.
and
Okay.
whatever else. But
Yes, I know. It's like it's wool tender. Is like wool tender like that. It's very German. Okay, I'll send it to your Discord. We'll see you when you get here. In the meantime, there's like so much. First of all, the archives is just saying, can all the ex-president, everybody just like check for documents and just forward it to us, save us some time and like work. But I agree with you that the onus here is not only on those that are reading the documents, but on the procedures themselves that have to be like really firmed up and taken care of. And we don't want to make it difficult for them to do their jobs.
oh, of course
Understandably,
not.
they have to handle top secret documents. Of course, the president needs to know what's going on. The vice president, people in
And the
charge.
intelligence
Yeah,
committee and
exactly.
so on and so on.
Hmm. But
But at the same time, listen, I'm still going to stick it to the National Archives here. This system needs to be revamped. We can't have it both ways. We can't say that these are top secret documents and we need to be careful with them and then just let them walk out the building with them and not
exactly
have any way of
right.
saying,
Hmm.
okay, we need those back.
Hmm.
And
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
mean 12 years later. I mean, now we need them back today.
yeah.
I mean, they've got enough people
Hmm.
working there. It's not like,
True. And here's the thing. They are saying, oh, could it be staff? It could be this, it could be that. But here's the thing. Do you remember there used to be a person that followed the president around with these documents that was responsible for this stuff? What happened to that person? I remember seeing that person all the time with Obama. Okay. I remember seeing that person all the time with some other presidents too. There was always somebody in charge of like getting things back to where they needed to go. Mm.
there was always
Where
somebody in
where?
charge of keeping
Mm.
track of continuity too. I mean, if
Hmm.
the president wrote on a napkin, it didn't go in the trash.
It did not. No, you had to save because we save all that, right? Phone
Yes,
calls,
we do.
anything they sign, anything they talk about, anything they write on, we do. And I get it. I get you. I get it. Beck makes a good point. Let me see if I could actually find it in my comments in. Uh, ooh, we're talking about pockets. I mean, it's here, but I know exactly. I kind of agree exactly what he's saying. I'll just read it. They do not move their own stuff. Blame the White House staff. I agree. There it is. Oh, you
Yes,
found it. Okay, okay. You're so good.
I'm
Thank
doing
you.
my job, honey.
Thank you doing it. I love having a co-host, like somebody with power. I love powerful co-hosts. Like you makes me feel stronger and less overworked, to be honest. So This is true. Like, yes, we have to put blame. Like, they don't move it themselves, but they need to know the policies, and that's what used to crack me up about Trump. He was saying that he obeyed all the he wrote stricter policies, thinking he was going to blame like Hillary Clinton for everything. So he wrote these really hard. Him and his cabinet, him and his his cabinet wrote some really strong legislation, made the penalties
Mhm.
worse, and then snagged his own damn self with the own penalties that he put out there for this kind of stuff. Kind of a me, I just like to point and laugh at that kind of stuff, the
And let's be
hypocrisy of it all.
honest, the new
Yeah.
law would not affect the past presidents. They'd be grandfathered in because the new law came after them.
Uh, this one's I don't really think he did this, but this is kind of funny. Hi Ashley, thank you for joining us. And yay, Spooky Spoon. Hi. Hi to you too. I'm just waiting for it to be revealed that Bush W has been using classified documents for his paintings. So, like, for the paint or for the canvas or what? Like, oh, he's doing paper mache. Can you imagine? Like, okay. Like, oh no. I know I'm making fun and it's a very serious issue, but I have to because it is kind of like if I don't laugh at it, I'm going to cry because the system's broke. We all see that. I
Definitely.
mean, we definitely see that the securing, and we look like idiots to the other countries out there. And anybody that wants to take advantage of us for getting information, they know where to go now. Anybody who has any access to anything, just hit them up. They probably got something you could use on them. Yeah, I know. It's scary.
Probably.
And when I get scared and nervous and pissed off about stuff, I can only stay mad for so long. Then I have to joke about it a little bit.
Here's a question I
Yeah.
have. Adam Schiff just lost his spot on the Intelligence Committee.
Well, that sucks.
Did he turn in all the documents he has that
I
he
hope
shouldn't
he
have?
does.
I
He
mean,
better. Yo,
seriously, would that not be the first thing you think if you just got kicked off of a committee
I would say
like that?
so.
I'd be
Like,
okay.
turn it all
Everybody's
back.
all upset about these documents. I think I better hand them back in, but I
Yeah,
bet he doesn't.
how about not give them anything to talk about? Yo, Adam, we're talking to you. Adam, Adam, we're talking to you. Turn it all back in. Like, make sure it all gets listed and document. Do the right thing. Do it. Make a big show of it too. That this is how it's done. Yeah, do it. Do it. Like, don't become part of the wrong conversation,
Exactly.
please. Yes, don't give them anything to say.
But I
You
mean,
know.
it's not just ex-presidents. There are representatives and senators who need to go back and look to see if they've accidentally kept some of this stuff.
This is true. This is true
And
because
and if you got it, then throw it out there and say, I got this. I'm handing
mhm.
it back into the National Archives. They're already here to get it. DOJ's been notified. The whole bit. I mean,
Yeah, and this is it. Anna's like, true. The library. Listen, my library card expired, and I had a book, and they still came for me. They got my money, they got my book, and then they were like, you can't you can't get anything else until you turn it in. That's how it should be. Like, if you still have documents out, you need to say why and why you still have them. Document that you still have them before you can get anything else. I agree with
I
that.
agree.
I agree. And I know it's not
But
that
again,
simple,
I
but
also
they
think
do
this is
need it.
part of the problem of the National Archives. They're doing it
Mm.
wrong. If it's a top secret document, hand it to one person. That one person hands it to whoever needs it and stands there. Says, when you're
Mhm.
finished reading that, I need it back.
Exactly.
It is
Ex
not staying in your desk.
exactly. Because let's like, I remember plenty of times presidents talking about the work that they do and how they're reading in bed, like, it's a common thing. They're reading for the next meeting, they're preparing, they need stuff to go over, they've got reports that they have to look at. There's a lot they have to keep track of. And I get that. But there has to be a process, for it all to get back where it needs to go. They should know where every copy of everything, especially this stuff they're saying is so top secret. They're so upset that Trump had it. And I'm like, how did he have it and how did it get off of away? Like, how did it get away?
I
Mhm.
agree.
It's the Otter von Bismarck.
Well,
Mhm.
hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Otter.
Welcome to the conversation, Jared from AT2 Productions. You can't hide behind that otter. I'm going to tell everybody who you are. There you go. It's like, okay. But
Take
thank you
off that
for,
fur, live
yeah,
high and
yeah.
proud.
Thank you for joining us. Like, I'm assuming that you have something to say about this issue. There you
Well,
go. Yeah.
I do find it kind of hilarious Because think about the rhetoric that has been thrown out
Mhm.
against the likes of Trump.
Exactly.
And sorry, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. What Biden did is just as bad because
Mhm.
he's been doing it since he was a fucking senator.
Yes, he should know better.
He should
Yes,
know
they should.
better.
And
I
that's why
agree.
I think that I agree with you,
But
actually.
let's look at the two responses. National Archives calls and says, Mr. Trump, you've got this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and we need them back. No, they're mine. Click. Oh, by the way, this is Joe Biden. I'm calling the National Archives. I found some documents, and I've already called the DOJ. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
come pick them up.
I think it's
I
the
did
response. It's the response to it that actually makes the
not
difference.
no.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing.
Well, it does for
I
criminal charges.
I doubt that it was Biden who found it on his own and
No,
self-reported
I don't
like
think
that.
I don't think he did it like that, but I'm saying he
No,
was
the
smart
National
enough to listen
Archives
to his staff and do the right
originally
thing,
said
Jared. He
we
did
think the
report it.
vice president at the time, he was vice president, has some things. He sent lawyers in to look for them. They
Mhm.
found the originals that the National Archives wanted. Then they found others that the National Archives didn't
Yeah.
even know about and said,
Mhm.
"Oh, we found these too. We've already contacted the DOJ for you."
Exactly. Here
Here's
it
the
is. It
difference.
was staff that brought it to his attention. And we agree. It's not Biden going holier than now and checking hair. Like, no, that's not the message we're putting
No.
out. We're putting out the fact that when found, however found by staff or anybody, that the proper measures were taken in responsibility. Not like the other one. And my line is that's the difference with criminal intent.
Remember, it's intent. There has
They
to be
had to
criminal intent to
subpoena
these kind of
him.
things.
And then he was swearing he didn't have any more. They subpoenaed him and they found a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
There's a difference here.
And
There's
Biden's
a
camp was
difference.
saying, "Hey, we found it all. We've turned it all in." 2 days later, oops, here's some more.
And they're
Oh yeah,
still
but
turning
okay,
it in.
but
They're still
who found
cooperating
in the
though.
oops who turned it in
Yeah.
or here oops
Mhm.
there's more. Who found that? It was still the Biden people who were still looking. The
No.
Biden
It
camp should
was the
not have said we found it all. They should have said this is
Yeah,
what we
they
found
did
so far,
misspeak.
and
I
we're
agree.
still looking.
I agree.
But
You're both right
there-
on that. They're
But
both right on that.
here's the sinister part of the Democrat side that plays into this. This issue with Biden has been going on since the end of October.
Okay, I get it.
They were fucking radio silent until
Mhm.
2 weeks ago.
Listen, we hear you, Jared. What Quiz and I are saying is the system is broken. We're not saying either side is wrong. We actually scheduled this stream to say we're not saying one side's better than the other. We're saying there's just one of these things isn't exactly the same. One of them does lead to criminal charges, and it has to do with cooperation. Not cooperating is the best way to get criminal charges on
And
you. Would you agree?
here's the thing: you have to look
And
at the past.
Mhm.
Every president who has walked out of that office has gone back to the National Archives and handed documents over after leaving the White House.
Mhm.
They found shit and said, "Oh, that doesn't belong to me. Oh, that doesn't belong to me. Oh, that doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you guys because I
Mhm.
was president when I wrote this, or this is a document that you're supposed to keep and I shouldn't have it."
Mhm.
Every one of those presidents before that, before Trump, took care of that in the right manner. This is what the National Archives requests of you as
Mhm.
president. They understand that things get hectic when you're moving out of your house. They get
Mhm.
that. They just ask you to go through your shit and
True.
find
And
anything that
I
doesn't
think
belong to you and hand it back in.
yeah. I think what AT
Problem is that Trump knew he had shit that didn't
True.
belong to him
He
and
fought them.
said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
"This is mine. I'm keeping it."
Right.
Yeah,
He
and
yeah.
that's where they both deserve to be completely strung up.
They
and
do.
what and what makes it more egregious on the people who want to try to say that Biden's is at least tolerable.
I didn't
Here,
say
that
tolerable. Yeah.
Neither of them are
no,
tolerable.
no.
Mm-mm.
Well, and see, that's the thing is, I want to make sure that this is out there from someone who was a part of the controlled materials program directly.
Exactly. That's where it needs to start, is that those programs, we want to make
It
sure
needs
there's
to start
better
with firing
tracking.
whoever's in charge
Right.
of the National Archives right now.
Unfortunately, yeah. And because
And
we
some
do
of the
know
and
there
some of
is
the
some There is
the year experienced people who have been there and allowed this shit to go on. It needs
Right.
to start with them. We need to revamp this system. Nobody should get a hold of a document and have the ability to keep it for a year or two.
exactly.
Here's
You
the
want
here's the thing,
backtracking.
though.
You can
Yeah.
have this for the end of
Here's-
today, and then I need to take it back, and I'm going to report back to the archives. I'm going to put it back in the vault, and if you need it tomorrow, I'll bring it back to you.
Well-
That's how it goes.
Well, here's what a lot of people need to realize and need to separate.
Mm-hmm.
The system itself, the actual framework and the actual protocols that are in place work. It is the people in the positions of authority that pick and choose when to enforce the protocols.
Exactly.
That's
They're
the
not
issue.
exactly. That's the problem. Like, we don't even know if those things are in place. I think that's a valid point.
Oh no,
Quiz, because,
they
like,
are in place.
No,
And
I
that's-
mean, but they're not being followed. They're being disregarded. We
point.
watched the Trump White House say, I don't have to listen to you about anything. I'm going to do it away. We watched that happen. We watched Biden come in after all of that's been dismantled and not put it all back in place accurately or start to follow the rules the way they
Mhm.
should. Remember, I was saying, and I did and Jared, maybe you help me with this. Was there not a person that followed them around? I remember Obama always having
Always
somebody
is.
with a briefcase
There
locked
always
up
is.
for the paperwork constantly.
There
And
al-
that doesn't exist anymore.
No,
Like, I don't
no,
see
no,
it.
no, 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 no. That position is there. You just don't see them because that person is now known and is identified as a target. That's why you won't see them on camera, but that person is still there and the
Okay, that's
position
good.
still
I
exists.
feel reassured now. Thank you. I feel a little reassured. I remember the guy with the
Then
handcuffs
there's some
in the
people who need to
suitcase.
be fired for not doing their job.
Oh, there's a lot
Exactly.
of fucking people
Mhm.
in this government that need to be fired.
Mhm.
It's
I'll tell you-
starting with the
care.
accountability stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, it's
Listen, when it comes
if
to
I
parties,
lose my job, if I worked in the National Archives and somebody fired me for doing my job, for saying you cannot keep this document, I need to take
Mhm.
it back tonight. Sorry. And they said, well, fine, you're fired. Well, you're going to have a hell of a lawsuit and hell of a whistleblower going on. And if you can't do
Yep.
that for your country, get the fuck out.
exactly.
Here's
Only
the bit,
people that can abuse power is when you let them abuse that power.
Yeah.
So don't. Ugh.
well,
I know.
here's something for everyone to chew on.
Mhm.
This was the standard that was drilled into me because this is how it is enforced to people that won't make the headlines.
Right.
Mhm.
There were materials in my work center that were behind no less than 3 controlled access points. My building, my work center,
Mhm.
and the individual secret squirrel shop.
Mhm.
If material from that secret squirrel shop was found outside of that last checkpoint, the last person to log it out is no longer in the job. They might
Right.
not be in jail, but their security clearance is fucking gone.
And it should be strict like that because that's the only way to secure it. There has to be absolute consequence for even the smallest infraction, because the slightest infraction puts the country at risk when you're talking about the level of documents that we're talking about. Yes, I mean, they're really upset about the number of documents and what the classifications were and how long they were out there. But who's getting, like, why don't we hear about who is getting actually put to task about not knowing about this sooner and getting this taken care of?
You want to know
Um,
why? Do we really want to pull this curtain back on why certain questions like that
Because
aren't being
because
answered?
they're
As long as
because
you don't
because
say
it's all red
Illuminati
versus blue.
Oh, no.
Yes.
or
No, 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 no.
Rothschilds.
No,
or whatever else.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's not
No
going that
Rothschilds,
far.
no Illuminati, and everything like
It's
that.
not going that far down the rabbit hole. But let's remember the place that the majority of these documents that have been found recently, at least publicly made aware that they've been found recently.
Mhm.
Who was the actual primary physical resident of that building? Hunter. Hunter has business ties with a number of, let's say, less than desirable people internationally.
True, but I don't know. Have we found documents on Hunter yet? No. Come on. I mean, I know we want to blame
Okay,
a lot
we're
on
not.
Hunter.
I'm not
I
even
get
going to
it.
entertain a Hunter
I don't even want to
Biden
go there,
conspiracy
actually,
here.
Jared,
No, well,
because to
it's
me
not a
that's
con-
too
it's not a
conspiracy.
conspiracy.
Even the Trump White
No,
House, the Trump admin, the
Yeah,
Trump
because-
DOJ went
Mhm.
after Hunter, and guess what they said about him?
Nothing. Yeah,
He didn't do
and-
anything illegal. They
All right,
can't do
but-
anything
And
about
here's
him.
the thing: You know what they didn't find on Hunter Biden's, and I'm just going to throw this out there because there's point and counterpoint, and I get it, and they're both conspiracies. Jared and I are both going to throw conspiracies out here that mean nothing because we have nothing to back it up. And you're going to have to go with me with that, Jared. We don't have enough to back it up. But I'm going to say, you know what they didn't find on his laptop? Like $2 billion in connections to Saudi Arabia, like they did with the other guy. You know,
Oh,
because
no,
we
that-
can go
This
with
is
the
what I'm
other
saying.
relatives of Trump and say, hey, they're all dirty. I'm not going to sit
Claire,
here and say they're
Most
not. They're all
politicians are
dirty.
dirty.
Yeah, they are.
Let's
Mhm.
remember, I
Yeah.
am an advocate for an entire fucking clean house of the federal
You
government.
and me
It ain't
both.
gonna work.
That's why I'm saying we're both talking about these stuff. We don't have enough to
Okay,
back it up, but we know it all
I've
has
thought
to
about
go.
this for a
Yeah.
long time. Even if you clean house, you're
hmm
just going to put people back into a position where greed corrupts, and that's how it's going to always
No,
be.
no,
If you want to change it, you better change it for
We
real.
used to
you
have
got
You
the
better
old
go in and
so
say you can't make money in your position. You can't
quit.
make money from
Yeah,
your
quiz.
position as
We used
congressman
to
in
have that
stocks.
quiz,
Well,
remember?
No,
quiz.
We
they've
used to
never.
have
They've
it.
No,
allowed these people to make money through
yeah.
stocks and bonds.
Well,
But they
see,
used to
quiz.
have
There,
legislation against it. No,
no,
it
they
got
didn't.
repealed. And
No,
they
No,
they
had
not
didn't.
for that.
No, they didn't, Claire. That's part of the problem. It was they were operating under an honor system, and
Yep.
people back in the 18 and early 1900s actually had a sense of honor to a point, a fuck ton more than they do now, and
they
that's the
did.
problem.
Well,
And
you have
and
to
that's
admit
where
that a lot of the checks and balances systems were dismantled over the last 10 years, definitely, and even more so over the last 15 years. There used to be that you had to disclose willingly everything that you owned, everything you were a part of and invested in it. It was all open, like you said. They willingly did it, just like turning over your taxes, because why would you have anything to hide? There used to be an honor system.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
And
on the
I
wayside.
don't think it's a
it-
law that
no, it
they did
wasn't.
that against.
No, but they're
That
kind
was
of
all
like
honor
they should
system
make
shit.
it. They should make it
I
one
agree.
because they shouldn't have anything to hide from the American people. They're supposed to be
So,
representing,
so here's the big
not their
three
own
things.
interest. Right.
If
Mhm.
if my suggestions were actually listened to, there are three big ticket items that would be changed immediately off the
Mhm.
off the bat. One, term limits for everyone.
Of course.
I
I agree.
Two, the whole it's not insider training if you're a member of Congress.
Mhm.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. All extra money that is not paid to you through the federal government is fucking gone and out the window. No
Yep.
lobbyists, no insider trading, none of that.
Wouldn't that be
Anything that could
wonderful? Mhm.
anything that is remotely fucking close to it is illegal and you are out of office.
Exactly, and it
Third
should
one.
be. I've seen
Third
so
one.
many scandals about people
Oh,
knowing stuff and talking in the Rosehall Garden about. Remember that one where they caught somebody on tape talking to somebody else about an investment that
mhm.
went like short sale or something? Those people, like that was what, like 12 years ago, maybe. Jared, I'm dating myself here, but yeah, um, definitely they got shit canned and put on all kinds of lists because they were talking about it. Okay, it was a big scandal. Now it's like everybody does it. Who cares? Like
Yeah.
whatever.
And,
We got
and
bigger fish to fry, like stolen
and
documents and things like that. I don't
and
know.
the number three, the coup de grace, which this is going to piss a lot of people off. I know it pissed off Jay Brown, who was the one who brought it to my attention. There was actually a bill that was submitted to Congress 3 years ago that should have gone fucking through. It was
Yeah.
a reform to the tax code,
Yep.
removing all income tax and all payroll taxes and going entirely to a sales tax. This way, $1 in your paycheck now is no longer taxed 3, 4, 5, 18 fucking times.
Not until you
It's
spend it.
taxed.
Mhm.
No, it's not. It's only taxed the one time when you spend it.
When you spend it instead of like before and after, which is really hard to take when you're middle class. Like you just don't have enough to begin with, and they get you coming and going. No, that. Mm, mm, mm. That's going to
Yeah,
be hard
yeah,
with
but
Social Security. But then, how
well,
do you pay
no,
for the Social Security
no.
program?
Social
We're off track
Security,
here. We're off
Social
track.
Security
Let's
still
not go
gets
down the rabbit hole
funded.
of tax
Well,
Yeah.
tax reform when we're talking about
well,
documents
well,
and the National
here
Archives.
this goes back to my bigger point of there's other shit going on in the background that is actually playing into this because this bill was written and was put to committee in 2020.
Okay, well, why does that
So?
have anything to do with the documents in the National Archives?
Because when things are put out in such a way, if there was this grand transparency that certain politicians have been claiming to have, especially in their current term, and then things like that, which happened in their current term, aren't known until 3 fucking years later, what else are
Are
they
you
hiding?
saying that
What else
somebody
is going
wrote a
on?
bill, presented it to the speaker, and it didn't get to the floor because it died in committee?
No, it's not dead in committee, it's idle in committee.
That happens all the time. This is called a representative government because it's a representative government. If you want to vote on everything somebody decides to bring up in the government, then make it a pure democracy, throw everything out on the web, and we'll all vote for the damn thing. But you're not going to get a representative government who passes every single bill that somebody brings along. It just isn't going to happen.
It's about
You have committees, bills are presented in a certain manner, and then they're brought to the floor, they're voted on, they're debated, they're voted on, then they're gone to the next house.
It comes
and all
down
that.
it comes down to the transparency that is claimed and the communication of what is actually shared and how cherry-picked to the ever-living hell that it is.
And you know what? I kind of agree with you, and that's why I'm putting up a poll. I want to know people in the chat, and I think I know already where Jared and Quiz are on this. And the question is, do you believe either party is being transparent on the issue of documents and the National Archives processes? And you don't have to say what party. I just want to know. I just want to know.
Please tell me that fuck no is an option.
No, I did write hell no, though. You know me well. You do know me well.
We're not allowed to say fuck.
Yeah, well, what? We're not? Wait, why won't it go? Like, why isn't it going?
I don't know.
Maybe because you put hell in it.
Probably.
You know,
All right,
YouTube's
just
probably
H.
watching us. Or the National Archives, and they're now censoring you.
Oh, no. I'm here. You're definitely getting watched by some 3-letter agency just because I have been this kind of political shit stirrer for 20 years.
Why is it not? I'm saying ask the community. I'm telling it to do it, and it's not doing it. I'm getting pissed.
Take hell out of the no and see what
I
happens.
did. I put H in there, and it's still not going
And
up.
just say no.
Oh,
yes
you know
or
what?
No.
It's because my question's too long.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right. All right. I have to take the do you believe out and just go either party is being transparent on the.
Are both parties being transparent?
No, either. Just you don't have to tell me what party you're for, people. I don't care. That's not the argument.
Same if you said are both parties being transparent. You didn't have to say.
I could have left hell in there at this case, but it says H no, and H no means hell no. By the way, people, or whatever.
Or you could just put F no, and
I could have.
F stands for.
Yeah. Look at me learning how to poll on my own damn channel after 2 years.
Hang on. I just want a little bit of clarification there.
Okay.
Claire, are you saying that YouTube is even more of a size whore than you and some other people?
Yes. I'm not a size whore, by the way. How dare you throw that out here? Everybody knows I say it's all in technique. Who the hell cares about size?
If anybody is a size whore, that would be me.
That would be Quiz. That's not me. Definitely, Jared. Like, and stop bragging. Like, I hear you. You're just doing it so you could throw out there and brag a little bit. I get it, but you're not throwing me under the bus to do it. I am not a size hoe. Nope. I'm a technique hoe.
Claire is many things, but that is not one of them.
That is not one of them. I'm loud, I'm brassy, I'm rude, but I am not a size hoe. Like, you're not throwing that on me. I got enough. I got enough on me. Like, I don't need that. But yeah. Hello, Tony. Nice to see you again. Look, everybody in sleep. Yeah, everybody here. Hi, Commander. Thank you for joining. But no, I want to see where this goes. So far, let's see. So far, hell no's are at 44. And if I add the other no's, it's like
77%.
Astoundingly, it's like 77% say nobody's being transparent here. And I think all three of us, regardless of what
I don't think
politics
anybody
are.
has ever been transparent in our government. And I think there's always part of our government who should remain untransparent. We don't want to know certain things.
There are certain things that are actually legit national security stuff that you do
Yeah.
not talk about. Which
But
that's the thing.
seriously,
There's
if
a
you
very
want to
clear
follow a
line there.
bill through committee, you can do that on the White House or on the speaker or the representatives' websites. You can do that
Mhm.
on the Senate website. You can
Yep.
watch bills walk through committee and what the
Yes,
committee
you
is saying
can.
about it. And when they come up suspended, they'll give the reason why they're suspended. And if you don't agree with that, here's what you do. It's really easy.
Email.
You pick up your
Uh,
phone,
Call them.
you dial the number to your representative's office, and you say, "Why is that still suspended? It needs to get off. I back it, or I say trash it, or whatever. But have a voice in your government." The
Yeah.
problem with America is we don't exercise
Yep.
our voice. We
It's,
don't.
we
None
wait
of
till
us.
it's too late.
We
Everybody
we
waits for the presidential election, and by then it's
yeah.
too late.
We
It's too
elect
late.
people, we put them in office, and then we walk away. And guess what that makes us? It makes us a bunch of damn fools.
Hmm.
Which
No.
I have said many times that the current mindset of politician thanks each and every one of you that doesn't follow up on them.
They do. They do.
Of
Because
course
let
they
me
do.
tell you, I have learned in my local government, they have to answer those emails. They have to log down what it was about. They have to answer the constituents. The local ones do. It's like there.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. And it matters because your local vote actually carries more weight. You have stronger voice. You can make an appointment. They have to make appointments to see you. If you want to see them and sit down and talk to
Well,
them,
hold
they
on.
have a process
Before
to
we
do
get the
that.
idiots coming onto this channel and screaming that not everybody does that. Okay.
Not everybody
If
does. We know that
if
some
you
laws.
if you're in a
hang on.
local government
Hang
and you
on.
want to see a prosecutor, a judge, a representative, the mayor, the city administrator, follow the policies they have set down. In
In
other
your
words,
local
if they
government.
ask
Yeah.
for your name, it means your first and last. It doesn't mean you give them your first name and they say, "Oh, that's all I'm given. I don't have to do anything else." But the Constitution says I can talk to you any way I want to.
Okay, no, we're not going into that sovereign citizen stuff. No.
Don't be
Okay,
a
no.
soft sit
Don't be
frauditor.
a soft seat asshole. Okay, don't
So,
do
any
it.
sausage who want to crash a channel, you've been warned.
Well,
Yeah,
and
no,
here's
they
the
can come. I'll have
well,
some fun with them. I feel like playing bad
here's the
games
thing
today.
with the people that may want to go that way to it is like, yeah, see, there are measures in place, and there you can always add to a legislation. You can add to
Mhm.
means and procedures from a higher level. You
Yeah.
just can't take away from.
Right.
That's what they forget.
They do. And here's the thing. You have to be part of the process to complain about it or to actually do anything about it. So you can't like walk in there and say, "I'm not cooperating with anything. I'm not giving you my name. I'm not registering. I'm not filling out a form. I'm not making an appointment." You can't do that.
Yeah,
You can't just
if
walk in as an American citizen and say, "I have all these rights," and not actually follow some of the rules and regulations we have for good reason. They're in there because not everybody, they don't know you, boo. Like they don't even know if you're registered to
Yeah.
vote. You
And
need to follow those procedures if you want your voice heard. And if you want those procedures changed or do you think they're too much, then become part of the process to do it. But you got to be part of the process to do it,
well,
or it doesn't get
and that's
done.
exactly it. Is a lot of
Yeah.
people they don't want to be that much of an informed person in the
Well,
process.
I'm sorry.
Well,
This
then
ain't
it's our
this
then
ain't a
it's then it's
rodeo.
our fault
Yeah.
when the government fails on these levels.
Mhm. And
If we don't follow through on keeping our government on the straight and narrow, yes, that means they're assholes, but we're dumbasses for allowing it to happen.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You got to be part of a process to change the process. We can all bitch and moan about how bad it is, but if we're not actively pursuing to make it a change, then boo-hoo on us. We're just a bunch of violins out here. That ain't gonna work. Because this ain't the wild, wild west anymore. You don't get to get on your horse with a gun and force your will on us.
Unless
We
you're in
have
Texas.
grown up. But that's the mentality. Yeah, like my way or the highway, or I'll shoot you down. That's not how it works. We're supposed to be grown-ups now. We're not a baby country anymore. Stop acting like juvenile delinquents. That don't work. You need to compromise. Like, listen, like I know people get tired of me saying it, but you need to back away from your damn attitudes about it. Your might is right. Like, I know what I'm doing. And listen to the other person, because if you're not willing to compromise, nothing gets done. You got to give a little to get. And I understand that. And I'm not talking about like fattening up the bills with pork stuff and all that other. I'm just talking about listening to the other side. None of this party all voting one way bullshit. What about the individuals? You got 150 people there. They're all supposed to vote the same way. That's
No.
stupid. That is what's wrong.
Well-
That's the sheepism, the thing that's going on. Like taking away the individual, taking away actual conversation and compromise about all of this stuff.
Well, and that's where a lot of people need to actually get a bit of actual frame of reference on this.
Mhm.
Just go back 30 years. Just go back to the early and the mid 90s.
Yep.
Congress actually worked together and actually got
did.
shit done.
Mhm. I'll mention a name. I'll
Can
mention
I-
one
can I
name that's
ask a
going to
question while
incite
while
riot.
we're saying that, but wasn't it in the 90s where the FBI found a bunch of the congressmen who took bribes?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm
they
just,
did.
I'm just
then-
And
wondering.
it's also
I was
when
just
we
wondering
tried
that.
to put we tried to put bills up there to get rid of lobbying and everything too, and we were coming out against it. So that kind of shit couldn't happen anymore. That all happened in the 90s, but it didn't last very long. It did. There was a lot of talk and no action. And here's the
Oh,
thing. I'm
wait,
going to
and
mention.
Biden was part of that Congress.
He was. Biden was part of it. Hey,
Yeah.
do I?
Okay. Hold on.
do
Hold
you
on.
miss?
Hold on.
you have to
Biden
miss-
was one person out of
I
He
know.
was.
almost
All right.
600.
All right. And
I'm
here's
not going
another
to
one.
put everything on
Oh,
one
no,
guy.
no.
Right.
No,
Just
I'm
because
not
he
gonna
happens
put
to be
everything
the
on.
president right now and he gets a lot of the play. But let me just mention one name, and it's probably going to make people pissed off. But back when John McCain, yes, I said John McCain,
He
back
used to
when
be
he
decent.
actually voted on issues, Jared, and you know he did. He was
Yeah.
that kind of guy at one time before party like pushed everything. But he was the guy who voted on the issues, and he went one way or the other way depending on what the issue was. Okay, and yes, he was a Republican, but he voted issue. Okay, yes, he was. I had respect for him then. Okay, and that's the kind of that way that he was then is the kind of representative I want. I don't care if they're blue. I don't care if they're red.
There,
As
there's-
long as they're voting on the issue. As long
There-
as they're voting on an issue and not party only.
there's another one that actually comes from that generation and little before that actually, yes, he has a fucking checkered past when you actually look at things outside of the office, but his actual performance in office for the majority of his time in was actually better than what a lot of people want to give him credit for. Ted Kennedy.
You know what? There you go. I was waiting for somebody to bring up a Kennedy, but yep, there you go. And they are hated for it because you have to prove it to them. And that was the thing about Teddy Kennedy, as you had to prove it to him. He just didn't do party. He had the name to back it up, and you had to show him what you wanted and why it was a good thing. And I think more people should do that. And I agree with you. He did have he's like he's only a man, right, Jared? Like we can't really bring off the rest of it. But politically, his voting record was like, if you proved it to him, he was there for you, and he supported it, and he worked it too. He would work those phones and work people for you if you proved to him why it was a good idea and you didn't pull any shady shit. And Jiffy Phones, I get it. Thank you for ordering.
Hold on. I think all of them pull shady shit, even on a little bit.
I mean about proving the facts. Like he didn't put it out with this hand and pull it away with that hand kind of stuff.
He had a more clear line, and he actually stuck to that line more often than he didn't, especially compared to his contemporaries. I'm looking at you. Oh God.
Everybody.
Well, no,
not at you, everybody.
No, there's another congressman from Massachusetts, shockingly enough, that I'm blanking on the name.
Oh gosh.
But he was
horrible.
I
just want to thank
Barney Frank.
Okay, Frank's voting record is a shame. It's a shame and it's a shambles. Just go look it up, people. I'm not going to go into details about it. Just go look it up. It's appalling, actually.
Well,
Jiffy Cones, thank you so much for the otters, and thank you for feeding them so it's a safe place for Milky. We must feed the otters so when Milky, if he does show up, doesn't get like terrorized. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Sorry, Jared. Go on.
Well, and Jeff, this actually can bring me back onto a point I was making before we went on this wonderful little side spiral. Jeffy Combs, if I had $1 for every establishment politician that wasn't corrupt, I'd have $2. And both are likely counterfeit.
You
Hey,
may not even get a quarter out of that
you might
idea.
even like. I think all three of us could stand behind that comment. Like that's great. Like Jiffy, you should run for president.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
but
Like we vote for you. That's
and,
actually true. A true
it,
statement we could stand behind.
and back to the question that Quiz actually raised almost 20 minutes ago now.
Sorry, quiz. Sorry, quiz.
The last transparent politician, or the closest thing to a transparent politician that I think we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I am not intending this as a dark humor, but it fucking fits. JFK.
You know what? I'm gonna stand behind you then, because you know what? For one reason, and I know people get tired of hearing these, but my family raised me to look back at that, to when service was service for our country. And it was every man, not just being in the armed service. It was everyone. Everybody did service for our country in one way. And it was like that statement that John F. Kennedy made will stick with me. And I learned it as a girl, in school,
Think not what you can or
to
what
do,
your country can do for you,
but what you can
but
do for
what you
your
can do for
country.
your country.
You put country first it's like the greater good. You know how I'm always talking about the greater good, and I know you're all sick of it, but I'm still out here on YouTube, and I'm still going to do it. But the greater good has to outweigh the individual when these things come up, especially in politics. Okay, and that's what we're not seeing anymore. There's more individualized, party wise, toe the line kind of decisions being made instead of the greater good for everyone. No one is looking like they're more interested in their agendas. And I know I got rose colored glasses on about that, but that's the world I want to live in, where the greater good comes back and we're all working at, like, we do have a great country when it's working right. It's got great opportunity. It does. If we go, well, we have to take care of our own people first. And I'm not saying like let them sit on their asses and pay them to do anything. I'm saying we need to take care of our people, healthy education, a fair wage. I'm not saying give everybody a free ride. There's got to be a way to do it, because you know what? You know what, people? There are countries out there doing it. They do all have problems, but they are doing it better than we are. And that doesn't make me not a patriot. It
And
just
we're
makes me
not
a
saying
person.
that the United States is second or third or fourth. We're not
We're not.
saying that.
We're not. We're saying there's a
Okay,
better way
maybe
to
we
do it.
are, but
Well, yeah,
still,
well, okay, maybe we
statistics
are.
prove the point that we lack in a lot of shit.
We do.
We're lacking in some areas, but then again, we're also paying out the nose in other areas
We are. We are.
for those countries.
We are. And maybe, and okay, and don't come for me, world, and don't come for me, everybody in the United States, but maybe we need to actually make sure this is a place where everybody wants to be, and we can get people all working together before we try telling the rest of the world how to do it.
Did you
That would
say
kind of be
everybody
like,
wants to be, or just whoever's on whatever side at the time?
I would
wants
like
to be?
everybody to work together, but I'm a
It
naive
would be
bear.
nice if everybody had rights. It would be really nice.
Oh, you're not gonna. Oh, come on, quiz. You're not gonna like. Oh, we're gonna go there, like, cause
No,
like.
I'm just saying. I'm just
we-
saying. As long as we deny rights to certain groups, we'll just leave it at that. Then we have a problem.
Like I said, agenda. They're also worried about their damn agenda. Like they gotta shut me up. They gotta shut you up. They gotta shut Jared up. They gotta shut half that chat up, most of that chat up, because that we're gonna be against their agenda in some way. Like they don't have the time to argue because they have no argument. Their argument is my way or the highway.
Right.
Period. And it's like us or them. When does that ever work? I mean, they're acting like they're a damn cult out there. I swear. Like
Well,
that.
they are. Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
yeah,
That'll get
no,
me in trouble
don't
right
but
there.
that's another show. That's a whole nother series. Don't go there. Okay.
I mean,
But
shit,
no,
we could do a weekly show, and it would take us 10 fucking years to go through every individual group that has cultish mentality.
it is. And I did start that series, Jared. So it's like bad bear, bad bear. I am doing culture conversations, and they're coming out in 2023. I'm actually the first one I'm working on in a 3-part series is Christian nationalism.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question about that?
Yeah, I'm nuts. Yeah, go ahead.
If somebody has something to add to that or would like to help on that, how would they do that?
My DMs are open. Discord, Instagram, Twitter. Talk to me. I can be
And if they
actually.
did that, would they be able to get into your private Discord channels?
if they actually did some work with me on a stream, absolutely. That's the fastest way to get in. And you all have benefited.
Wow.
Half that chat knows that.
How
If you
else can you get into your Discord?
Oh God, you're making me do YouTube
you-
after you do realize I streamed for 9 hours already today. You do realize that, right?
Quiz.
Like,
Did
quiz.
anybody ask these questions in your
Hang-
first
hang on.
stream?
Hang on.
Yeah, I
quiz.
actually did it myself. Actually, I did. I was a good bear. I did it once today. Leave me alone.
And quiz, the way you phrased that previous question, oh boy, could that lead to some juicy answers.
I'm looking forward to it. The bear has a sense of humor. Go for it. And also, I have brothers, so be prepared for the answer you get back.
Oh yeah.
I don't play. I don't play. And when I do play, just be prepared because you get what you give. But anyway, yes, you can join my Discord by being
Okay.
part
I
of
need
the
to
channel.
stop. I need to
Yeah.
stop the chat. Listen.
What are they doing?
The first, and it'll never happen, if they ever bring a Hunter Biden laptop up into Congress, the first person they call as a witness who knows anything about evidence is going to point out the obvious. That laptop has been touched by too many hands that we didn't know about, and therefore nothing on that is going to be seen or even
Oh
considered
God!
credible.
Don't make common
So just
sense,
stop with the
quiz.
laptop
They can't
shit.
handle that.
The
You're
minute
making
the
common
laptop,
sense.
the minute
Oh,
the
God.
laptop wound up in someone else's hands,
It
that
was
would be
compromised.
considered an enemy of our state or an agent of another state. It's gone.
An
It
enemy
can no
within our
longer be
state.
trusted.
You
It,
know,
it winds up in somebody else's hands, and then somebody else's, and finally it winds up in Rudy Giuliani's apartment, which he apparently held on to for 5 years and didn't
Yeah.
tell anybody.
and
I
Rudy,
got news
he's so
for you.
stand-upish. Like
Right
he's
then
really,
and
he pays
there, it
Yeah.
gets killed. So
Yeah.
stop talking about it. That's
Mhm.
the Hunter Biden laptop story. It
It's
died. It died
compromised.
for a
What it-
reason,
yeah.
and let's stop bringing it up. I don't care what was on it
Actually, it's
because
kind of
I
humorous.
can't even
though.
tell what was on it anymore.
I know, but it is kind of humorous, quiz, right? It's the answer to everything. It's like Hunter Biden's. Like I want to play that question. You know how we play like 7 degrees
Yeah,
of Kevin
sleep.
Bacon? I want to
One
play
of
7
Hunter
degrees
Biden's
of
friends was
Hunter
Rudy
Biden's
Giuliani.
laptop from now on because that's what they're doing out there. They're playing 7 degrees of Hunter Biden's laptop for everything, and I don't think it's necessarily wrong. There's probably some things there. I'm not going to say anybody's innocent about this at all. They're all wrong. They're all wrong. They're all wrong. Nobody was
I
being
don't mind if you
transparent.
want to investigate Hunter Biden, but
Mhm.
stop with this laptop. You've lost it. It's
It's like-
gone.
Yeah.
Evidentiary, it has no absolute
It's called-
standing in
I
any
agree.
court. Period.
It's compromised in a
fucked up.
court. In a court. But as far as political ammunition, it is not compromised at all. They will use
And
it
this is the
until
problem.
it dies of until they have every single word of it out there. They will use it politically as ammunition for God knows how long.
But
But
this
we're-
is
but
the
you're
problem
right.
with our
Legally,
current system.
yeah.
We don't say, well, is this evidence valid or is this evidence real? What we say is, well, it's out there and therefore we should look into it. Hey, just
Well-
because some dumbass in the boondocks of Arkansas said X doesn't mean I need to look into it. Just because some guy named Nathan Thompson said the earth is flat doesn't mean I need
Oakley.
to go in and investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Just because some dumbass said something
Mhm.
doesn't mean I should look into it.
Or
And
like
just
when
because
Shaggy
Hunter
said it
Biden
wasn't
lost
me.
his laptop in a
Mhm.
taxi or wherever he said he lost it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
once it's picked up and not turned in immediately, forget it. And
This is
once
true.
Rudy Giuliani says it's been in my apartment for 5 years,
Well, there you go.
really,
Yes,
forget
there you
it.
go. Because, like, there's just a lot of credibility lost there too. Like, just turn it in, protect the evidence. I get that, but they're still going to use it. Everybody, politically, everybody uses whatever they're going to use, and it's going to be a story forever just because of the pushback. The more we say it's useless, the more they're going to say, but Hunter Biden's laptop, like this, that, and the other thing. So, I guess we're just going to have
And
to
honest, I will always respond with, and
go
the DOJ has investigated him and couldn't bring charges.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do about it?
We're going to find
And please
Mallory's
don't tell me the
furry feet on
DOJ
there.
was
Nope.
crooked because it was Trump's DOJ.
It
that
was,
did
yeah,
it.
but he says now, he was all behind them then. Now he says they were all like, no, they don't want it
Of course
because
he
they
says
were like,
that now
yeah,
because
But
he's losing everything. But anyway, let's
I
just
don't
stop
know.
with Hunter Biden laptop because
Until we find Mallory's furry feet on Hunter Biden's laptop, I don't want to hear any more about it. Period. I'm with you, Jin.
are you saying Mallory has furry feet?
No, I'm saying Jin did. I'm not claiming that one, but I'm saying until we find them, and I know they don't exist on Hunter Biden's laptop, I don't want to hear about it anymore. But I will vote for Mallory for president because at least that would be fucking fun. Like
Oh
then,
no,
yes,
not Mallory.
yes, Mallory. I want Mallory, Boop Queen for president, because if I have to deal with a clown show, it should at least be
She's already the
intelligent and
princess of the
entertaining.
universe. Why does she want to be president?
Because it would be like so entertaining. Like at least if I'm going to get a headache, I want it from laughing that hard, not from like hitting my head
agree with
against
you
a
on that
wall,
one.
hitting my head against the wall, going, "Oh my God, they did this! Oh my God, they did that!" At least I'll be having a headache from laughing my ass off. Like, yes,
It could be
Jin.
considered idiocracy too.
Hey, I claim to be an idiot when it comes to that. Yes, I will be an idiot for it. Yes. I know we're off track, but when I get
I'm getting a
frustrated like that,
straitjacketed for that.
no, don't you? I better not. Like, I better not. I'm actually voting for president. How can I get such? I'm on the team. Don't straitjacket me. No,
Anyway,
don't you
I
dare.
think the consensus is our government, as much as we like it, has bureaucracy issues. There are accountability issues, and where we can place blame probably should, it should be with our representatives. It should be with
Or
the
locally.
president and his staff who push and say, no, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. But it also goes with the people at the archives.
Exactly.
They need to have the backbone to stand up and say,
Well, they need to be
no, you
empowered by
can't do
government to
this.
do
You're
it.
not going to play it this
Yes.
way.
No,
This is
no.
the policy. You have to do it this way, or we just don't let you see them at
Claire?
all.
Yeah, but they get
They have
ignored. They're
no,
getting ignored. They're
Claire,
getting ignored. I'm
they
sure they
have-
tried.
They
Yeah.
have no, because they have the power. The standards that I was held to are the standards that everyone in the controlled materials program
Then
is
explain to me.
responsible
Then
to.
where is the breakdown between
Influence.
them doing what
It is
needs to be
it
done?
is because of the people. Because people see these persons that get into office as having some sort of actual effective power over them directly. That's where the influence and the manipulation comes in.
It should
That's
be
where that sense
separate.
of entitlement
Yeah.
comes in. No,
Okay.
no. This is entirely the people involved. That is the problem. It's not the framework. It's not mandates. It's not how anything is structured. It is entirely the people in the positions that are the
Mhm.
problem.
So what we're basically saying, and I've heard this before, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we all know that the people we are voting into office don't actually know how things work and aren't really willing to learn about it to do it the right way. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, not just that. There are those who have been in power long enough that they know how to game the system, and because they have that seniority, they are
Term limit.
they are
No.
given extra privileges despite it being against the rules, simply because of who they are and the potential benefit of being on their good side.
Well,
It's
Like
not
being
even
on the good
people.
side of
It's
the
not even
Clintons and
people that
staying
were
alive.
elected we're talking about. It's people who have been in their position
so
for
long.
decades and
Well,
in the
they
National Archives or in the Library of Congress or wherever they are, and they're highly respected within Washington, and you don't fuck with them. But you know what? Fire 'em.
we do need to shake it up because this is a problem. We've got big classified documents all over the place that don't need to be, and that's a risk. Okay,
And-
we've had these people in
and-
private places. We've got. I mean, we hear about spies every
It
other
was-
day.
It
Yeah.
was there were some of them in a fucking cardboard box in a garage next to an
Exactly.
heirloom vehicle.
Exactly. Okay.
And the worst part about it is the fact that so many other politicians that have been around for decades are also coming out as, well, yeah, I still had some. I
Well-
still have some.
Well, turn them in. Come on, people. That's them just using the 15 minutes, though. I really think so, Jared. They're just like, yeah, It's like if it's going to be a big story, they're all just story hoes. Like,
So
Oh,
what
yeah.
can we do as people?
mm,
What can we do to change this system?
demand
What
better.
needs to be done? What can you in chat do?
Yeah, what can we do? Let's come up with something.
The first step is make your voice heard
There we go.
directly and loudly, and if it is still not heard,
And
this is
legally, let's put up this
And
legally.
legally.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, but here's the thing.
Let's just
Here's the thing, though. If the voices go unheard, despite volume, long enough, there is a legal ramification that these people face that a lot of people in office have been trying to undermine exactly because of this.
Yeah.
Governments
We
should fear
definitely
their
should be
people.
calling our
People
Congress
should
people.
not fear their government.
Mhm.
We should call
Sure.
our Congress people. We should call our president. We should leave these messages. We should write them. You know, I got a feeling that presidents and congressmen probably look at letters a lot more than we think they do because they're
Mhm.
probably so rare these days. So write a letter. Fuck, put a stamp on it, throw it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, keep
Gosh,
writing.
do people
And
still do that? Like, wow.
yeah,
Like,
the mail people come by here every day.
It
I
still
have to,
goes through a staffer.
make sure I don't stand in front of the window. So.
It still goes through a staffer, but that stuff does get cataloged, and they do. Somebody's going to ask eventually.
But still,
Well, start
this is
locally,
what people
definitely.
do. And here's the
Mhm.
second thing. If your voice, after being shouted out, is not heard, then vote for somebody else. Put
Right.
somebody else up in
And let them
office.
know why.
Yeah.
That's the second letter you say. Okay, you didn't want to listen to me. I'm going to go to the other guy and let him listen to me.
And
You
no,
have
don't
my
even
vote
go to the
anymore.
other guy.
No.
Just put somebody else in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Replace them. See, that's the thing, is that if we become the educated populace that they fear, it'll be so surprising at how many of these issues start to disappear because the quality of people in the offices just magically changes.
Okay. All right. First, I have to address two things. First of all, I'm all behind that hashtag Sleet, the Me Classified Hoarder 2 movement. I get it. Let's start a trend, everybody. But this free dragger shit, don't bring it to my channel. I am not going to get straitjacket for you. Go do your punishment, dude. Go practice. None of that. No
hold
free
on.
dragger.
Stop the practice. You've had
I
2
need a
fucking
reference.
weeks to
Yeah,
practice.
just do your
get
dance.
it over with.
Just do your dance. Don't bring that here. I'm with the warden. Do your punishment. No free passes for you. And I like you, dude. But no, don't
I
bring
need a
that
bit of a
here.
reference.
Okay.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Join
Join Mallory's server. You'll get all the
You have
reference
to
you need.
join the server over
Oh.
there. But he's on punishment. He's in prison. He's supposed to do something to get out, and he's trying to cause riot in my chat, and he's going to get me in trouble if I support it. And I don't support it. I'm saying it loud on YouTube. Mallory, do you hear me? Warden, I'm with you. Lock his ass up until he does it. Like, he's out here trying to get freed. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. You better stop, Wrecker. You better stop now. Okay. Okay. Hopefully I don't get straitjacketed now. Anyway. But sorry guys. Where do we want to leave this? We got 15 minutes because there's
Well,
Well,
I will say
there
this.
is-
Let me wrap up my position. What Trump did on face was horrendous. As a president, he doesn't own anything. It's not his. Never has been his. And when he was told this legally, he still pushed back, said, "Well, here's documents we have," and then, oops, we found all these others. And unfortunately, we doesn't mean he. We means the FBI who raided his place.
He acted like a fucking child.
On
He
the other
did.
side, you have past presidents who have done the same thing, except when they find documents, they turn them in. They call the NA, they call the DOJ. They say, "I've got these documents. I need to turn them in." Somebody finds the documents, and the NA may even come to them and say, "Oh, by the way, do you remember that document that you had back in A, blah, blah, blah? Do you still have that?" And they'll go, "I don't know. I'll send a staff person to look." The person may take them 6 months to find it because let's face it, these
people
men
move and everything's
and
all
women
over.
have a lot of fucking documents that they go
Mm-hmm.
through.
They
So they
do.
may have to look and look and look, but they may find it. They'll find it and they'll go, yes, here it is. Sorry it took so long, but there's a lot of freaking documents that I had to go through. And you got to do
Exactly.
it by hand. You can't just go, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's indexed. Oh, blah, blah. No, it isn't indexed because somebody would have found it when they were scanning these documents. Apparently, these didn't get scanned. So that's why they didn't find them and blah, blah, blah. The accountability
Oh,
issue to me comes down to intent. What
the
was the
intent.
intent behind the person with the documents? If you walked out of, and Jared, I understand that someone in a lower position, if you walked out of the office
Oh, you're
with those
fucked.
documents accidentally on your clipboard,
Oh, you
not
are
the
bent
intent.
over.
Okay, hang on. Can I finish? Or would you like to just talk over me?
No, come on.
I'd like to
Okay.
talk with you. It's fun to tag team things with
Yeah,
you.
I know. But if you walk out of your area with documents on your clipboard that you didn't mean to go out with, you're going to lose your job.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. You may even go to jail. I get that. When it happens to a president or a congressman, should we go that far? I don't know because we already have a law that says you cannot put a sitting president in jail while he's in office. I don't know why, but um, we should be able to hold people accountable for what they have done. Now, does that mean if they had the no intent to cause this problem that they should be strung up? Maybe they should pay a fine. I don't know. But anybody who does it with intent, I don't think we should ever even consider putting them back into a government office. Period.
Mhm.
That's my position. Like it or not, I'm not excusing anybody for what they've done. I'm just saying that, when you're working for the government or in the government, you're held to a different standard than if you're an elected person in the government.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not you like that, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
this is how it is right now.
No, you make a valid point, but they're all like, how do we do that? Like, if everybody turned in the documents now, we couldn't exactly like fire everybody, right, Jared? We couldn't exactly fire
Mhm.
everybody immediately, but
Oh,
we
talk
should
about seeing
actually, yeah,
absolute chaos if we had to hold
exactly. We should see
elections again.
some accountability, like we really should, and we want to see people go, because I do understand that. I don't think that they just found those documents on Biden. I know that the rumor is that they didn't know what to do about it. They didn't want to become part of the story. I know how politics works. Like, they thought about it for a while before they said anything, because like they don't want to become part of the story on what's going on with Trump. Like, there's a lot of bashing going on back and forth, but the intent there is different in how you actually come forward and do it. Okay, he didn't push back and try to say it was him. He didn't actually file a federal lawsuit to keep his documents. Biden didn't do that, and neither did anybody else with documents. Pence didn't do that. Okay, nobody did. That we know of. This was quite rude. Wrecker, would you stop it? Like, oh God, he's derailing me here. Thank you. Oh, oh, that wasn't me, by the way. That was Quiz who did that, and he timed you out. Now stop it, because you're going to get a Quiz and I both straitjacketed, and we don't appreciate that. You
She
got.
told you 3 times to stop.
I did, and thank you for doing mod rules. Thank you 3 times, and that's it. But I get it, and I don't want to silence anybody on the document thing, because I think it is on both sides. Jared had a valid point that nobody's really innocent here, and Quiz seems to be saying the same thing. I
Yeah.
think we're all in agreement that way. It's just in how to actually get it back under control. It is in, like you said, it's the people that we're electing in who aren't following or giving their respect to the policies, and that has become a thing over the last 10 years or so, about not respecting the policies or the way things are done, because you just don't have to, because you have no respect for it, or you don't understand it, so you just get to do whatever. And that's not right. There should be a lot more accountability. There should be more pushback
Yeah,
on that.
whenever you go into
Yeah.
office, you should follow the policies that are already there, not decide, well, I don't like them, so I'm going to just do different policies. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. Especially when it comes to things like secrets. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if you actually try to sue the government to keep documents that aren't yours, I don't think you should be able to run for office anymore. You just showed us you're not a team player. And I don't think that
Anyway.
if you're going to show you're not a team player, I don't think you should be part of the team.
Yep.
Team
I agree.
America, people.
I mean, there's other reasons why I don't think a certain person should not ever be able to hold government office again. It's not just the documents. I will tell you
Mhm.
that. I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
might be
attitude.
something that he
It's-
had to do with
Mhm.
my birthday a few years ago. I don't know.
I don't know. You
Um,
ruined your birthday, and I'm sorry about
and
that.
and
I
it's going to
wouldn't-
be ruined
yeah.
for the rest of my life because anytime somebody goes, "Hey, when's
You
your
know what?
birthday?" and I say, "Oh, it's January 6th." Oh,
Mhm.
that's when they had the insurrection.
That was a weak.
It was
I
a
got
whole.
news for
It
you,
was a whole
Jared.
process.
If that
But
happened
one
in
day,
1850, it wouldn't have been weak. Everybody involved would have been drug out of that house and would have been shot on the lawn.
I don't know if he
No
means
joke.
week or week, like in how long it took, like for everything to happen, or like in
No,
week.
weak as in some of the details that have come out are actually misrepresented and misunderstood, and there is a misconception of what the events that actually took place and the way it is characterized from both sides.
Hey, Jared, I
I
watched it. I watched
I
it live.
I think so. I think
I
so.
watched it
Only
inside live. I watched
true.
people literally break down doors, literally crash through windows to gain access to an area that they should not have had access to.
Hmm.
And then the rest of them followed in because they thought, "Oh, well, everybody else is doing it." Well, you know what?
It's the
If everybody else
principle.
is driving 100
Mhm.
miles an hour down the highway and you all get pulled over, everybody else gets a fucking ticket too.
I
You
will.
went in, you were just as bad as the person who
Hmm.
crashed the place.
Hmm.
You knew you shouldn't be in there. That place was closed down for a reason. They are always closed down when in session. You don't like what they're doing? I'm sorry. But when you try to block what is going on in as official government um,
Right.
business, you are committing an act of insurrection.
Yes, it is.
They should
And
all
I
run
agree.
out of that house, put up against the wall, and shot. And would
No,
have happened
I
if
don't
it
want to
happened
say
in
shot.
1850.
Wait. Now wait. Okay, I hear you, Quiz, and I'm with you. But I don't want them shot. Okay. Do I want some accountability for it? Yes. Do I agree? Also, I know. I'm gonna agree with both of you. I agree. I'm just as upset about that as you, Quiz. We watched all of the January 6th. I put that all out there because I want that truth out there. But do I agree with 82 that both sides are politicizing it and weaponizing it for the wrong reasons and making more out of it or not enough out of it to suit their own agendas? Absolutely. They are. And that's natural in politics now. That seems to be the status quo, and that's what we need to stop. I'm not going to say it wasn't upsetting because as an American, it was one of the most horrible things I saw. It was a violation in what we believe in and how you're supposed to support your government. If you disagree, use, like I said, use the policies and procedures we have in place to change it. You don't get to pick up a gun
Yeah,
and go in there and change
there
it yourself.
there
Right.
there are channels available. You must exhaust all those channels before that leverage of force becomes an option.
Exactly. So I mean, I hope that you're with us on that. That shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened. And actually anyone in government that supported that happen is part of the problem and needs to go because they're not advocating for changes in the system the appropriate way. They're in the system and advocating for that to be the solution. And that just doesn't fly with me. That's part of the problem. They want to take the easy way. Might does not make right. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care. If you don't have a valid argument, might does not make right. You don't get to pick up a stick and beat me into submission
And
about it.
let's
I
let's
want to
face it,
hear.
they didn't even
Yeah,
follow any of the
they
procedures.
didn't.
No, and that's my contention is it's one thing to march outside, march in publicly accessible areas
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
I
make
don't
your
have a
voice
problem
heard.
with protests. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't have a problem with civil protests. I don't even have a problem with sit downs and sit ins and all of these things. I do
Hmm.
have a problem if you decide to storm the Capitol building and force your way in because you don't like what's going on with the business of the day. That I have a
Exactly.
problem with.
Hmm. And I know that some people say, well, nothing actually happened. Well, yeah, because they removed Pelosi, they removed Pence, they removed the people that they were after. You can hear them chanting that they were coming after them. Just because a lot of people didn't die doesn't mean that it wasn't catastrophic. The event itself and the way it was handled should be concerned for every single American. Okay, you don't need to have. Do we need thousands of people to die before you think it's not right to do that? Like, I understand that only a protester, you say only a protester. Even the fact that a protester died is too much. There were officers that were injured. There were people that were damaged. There was a lot of property damage. And the fact that the security of people being able to conduct contrary kind of business in a safe environment, that was violated. And for what? Those people out there did not follow the procedure to make their voices heard before they did that.
Well, even if they're okay, wait a minute. There's times when I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna slice it down the middle. I agree. There are times when you need to rise up, you need to protest hard, and sometimes your voice doesn't get heard, so you need to take your protest to a civil disobedience level. I get that. But because you
But there's a
lost an
process.
election, because even after losing that election, after your own administration, after your own DOJ told you there was no great fraud,
Right.
we don't have the ability to overturn this election. It's sorry, it's just not real or true.
3
And
separate
yet,
reviews. 3.
and yet, you still try and overturn things.
Mhm.
That's not right. That's an insurrection. You didn't follow any of the rules because you had no rules on your side.
Nope, because you just wanted it a certain way. And like, you and I get that. We're dealing with a trend where you could say it a million times and people are just going to believe it. And so people were believing that everything was wrong. And so investigations did happen. People were trying to answer the question. People were questioning, is the election, was it messed up? Is it a fraud? What's going on? Like, why, let's figure it out. Well, they did 3 separate elections, 3 separate investigations, and all of them came up with bumpkins. And what they do have is they do have actual evidence of election interference, and it wasn't what was said. It's not what was being said out there, but then we're not allowed to prosecute on that, right? Because the person in charge is the one that was doing it. And this is the problem. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and say, Trump bash, Trump bash, Trump bash, but wrong is wrong. Okay. And you can't sit there and he's calling the elections frauds when he was the one calling up looking for votes. He's the one trying to get people to do this, and they have it. And yet the states that are actually in violation, that they are actually empowered with having to do something about this because they're in charge of these election committees and they have to keep this process sacred for us, and they can't even push forward in the climate that it is right now and do the right thing and press charges on those that are involved, on every single congressman and every single person of power that was involved with that shenanigans. They're not even allowed to come at them
Of course not.
because of the blowback. And that's what's wrong. It's like if there's no accountability at the top, then we have no accountability.
Period. Yeah.
Period. If we're
So,
not allowed to
yeah.
go against the president as number one with accountability, if you can't stand there and be held accountable, you shouldn't be there. And we have no accountability anywhere. And that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. And I'm going for all of them, not just him, all of
Oh,
them. Okay.
I agree. I agree.
It's just you if you cannot hold the same standard at the top, we have no standard.
Yeah.
We have none.
Hey, listen, I'm all for protest and civil disobedience when it's necessary.
Mhm.
I'm not for it when it's just because my guy didn't get voted in. Well, why don't we just elect someone king?
I don't know. I want blue people. Can we just like find some? I don't know. Like, can I paint myself blue and just like run for something and just only blue people? That's all I'm gonna let in my committee. That's all I'm gonna let. Like, that's it. We're gonna all have blue skin, maybe with stripes. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But that's how ridiculous it is for me now. It's like us versus them. Think like I do what I want, party over everything. It's it's
Belief
totally
over everything.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
And I get called naive all the time for it. And I'm going to stay that way because I want to keep having the conversations where everybody's side. I mean, we all three don't agree on everything up here, but we could talk about it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we can.
and that's the thing is you have a lot of people out there who will say, "Oh, yeah, you can say whatever you want as long as I agree with it."
No, see,
And that's fucked up.
And you and Quiz come from different parts of it, and you don't agree with each other, but you will still talk to each other about it
Yeah.
and still have respect for each other. And that's how it should be. Like, have respectful conversation. You have to hear the other side, or you can't make your argument. That's the way it is. Like, if you're not listening to the other side, you don't have any valid evidence or argument to present. You don't. You don't even know what you're pushing against. You're just going, we're not like them. And that's not an argument. That is not the way to convince anybody of anything.
And because Quiz brought it up earlier, it really is a flirf tactic, because the flirf tactic is, well, if I disprove your position, I'm automatically right. No,
Mm-mm,
that's not how it fucking works.
mm-mm. That isn't that exactly. And I say that constantly. Like, I've
Mm.
got to be willing to understand where you're coming from
But
to
now
be.
we're crossing into being woke
Oh God, that
and
is
critical
so
thinking, and
misused.
we really need to back away from that before those
And
crazies
you know
start
what?
to
They're,
invade us.
you know what? That has been, the word woke has been hijacked by both sides to mean something totally different. Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
what woke means anymore. Like, am I woke? Am I not woke? Like, it
It,
used to be
it
okay. Now it's not.
it's
Like, I don't
either
understand.
you're hyper aware of the social economic issues that are going on, or you're trying to berate someone who's acting like an idiot.
Oh, can I do both, please? Can I be double woke then? Because I'm both. Like, I want to make fun of the idiots, and I still will. Yes, I will, especially if they're coming at me. But at the same time, am I hopeless? No. You can call me a woman and say that I'm not as strong as Jared. Jared's a full-grown man, and he could probably arm wrestle me to the ground. Does that make me not a feminist? No. Does that not make me not like somebody with an opinion out here? I just happen to be female and will acknowledge freaking biology that I might be smaller. I'm only 5 foot tall and I can only do so much. Like, I'm going to acknowledge my weaknesses. What's wrong with that? Does that make me, am I too woke? Am I too woke because of that? No, I don't
No,
think so.
but the thought that came to my head is, God damn, I do have a type.
We're not this. Stop.
We'll talk about that later.
Gosh, you know what? I was up here. I was on YouTube doing the stream for the Murdoch trial with Beck, right? And I said, "Can you guys hear a blush?" Yes, you can. And you just heard mine because this man makes me. Every single time he gets up here, some way or not, he makes me turn completely red from like my whole face, and I am right now, and you could probably hear it. That's it. So stop it, Jared. Stop it. Like, there's no. Does that make me woke? Does that make me woke? Am I anti-woke if I blush? Over something like that. Like, I don't get it. Like, I just did a stream about Michelle Dauber because she's like way too much, and she's hurting like the reasonableness of women's issues everywhere with this extremism that she's doing, like this brand of like beat them till they submit thing that she's doing. I don't know. It's vile, and they're now investigating her, and I'm actually happy about it. That doesn't mean I'm against strong women. I'm all for it. Like, I want professors, doctors, nurses. I want anybody who's able to do the job to be able to do the job. But you don't have to bash the other gender to do it. Like, that's where I cross the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and that's the thing, is you have a lot of people who are on that side carrying the banner, ranting and raving, and they do put it into a beat the other side down to be even, instead
Exactly.
of let's lift up the side that needs that attention, that needs to
Mm-hmm.
know that those opportunities are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sense on it would actually be kind of seen in the middle, because it's one of those, I advocate for the equity of opportunity, because not everyone is going to succeed in the same way, in the same fields or anything. Just
Exactly.
have the option, know that you can go for those things.
You can. You
And
don't have to. It doesn't,
yeah,
right? But you can. That's all I advocate for. If qualified, you should get it. I shouldn't be held back. I'm sure there are certain things that I do better than other people, man or woman. And if qualified, I should be able to do it. You know. And
Well,
the same thing for you, Quiz.
I agree.
I do. I don't think, if you're not harming another individual in regards to it, nobody has the right to tell you how to live your life.
I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But there is a such thing as greater good. So everybody just come together. Like, you don't have to believe that the way I live or Quiz lives or Jared lives is the right way for you, you go do you, boo. Just don't tell me what to do. As long as I'm not hurting you or violating any law, okay? And that doesn't mean go make a law that says women can't talk in public. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as long as I am not criminally offending someone like to that kind of extreme, then leave me the hell alone. Like, you know, stay out of my uterus, stay out of Quiz's life. Let Jared have a type if he wants. Okay. But no. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like that. And if you have to look at it that way, it's mirror time, people. That's all I got to say. It's freaking mirror time. Of
And
course, I have to say why. Why? But
oh,
on that,
that is a loaded question, and I
it
will
is.
say my final words on all of this could really be summed up with just 3 simple words.
Yeah.
Viva la revolution.
Oh no! Please do not. Like, oh no.
No,
Wait.
no, because hey, that doesn't mean going to the extreme. But if you keep that mentality of what made the country what it was for most of its history, if you
Mm-hmm.
keep that spirit alive, you be a part of the political process. You let your voice be heard. You be
Yes.
an active, educated, actual benefit to society.
Not
That's
bearing
where you
arms
start.
and just taking over stuff. No,
But
but have the conversation just like they did. They all came together and decided that, we can work it out. They all came from different opinions on it. It took a while.
yeah, but when if all established and reasonable methods are exhausted and there is legit cause to do a hard reset and that is
I don't,
actually necessary,
I don't know if
that
I'm there yet. I don't think that we're there as a country yet. I think that's dangerous.
soon.
Well, I think it's dangerous. I don't think that's the answer yet. I
Anyway,
want to hold out hope for
That
sure.
that is the key. Yet this is one of the predictions that I made over 10 years ago now that I hope I am wrong about.
I do too, because like the way you're talking, I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this in my lifetime. That scares me like unbelievable. It's why I'm researching how our country started and where certain aspects of things that are out there being platformed right now are very strong. And because we need to look at our history to prevent it from happening again. And we need to get that under our belt, acknowledge it, and try to do better. And I don't want to see it come to that, Jared. I really don't. I really don't. It's
But
terrifying
don't
for our children. It's
but it but it
terrifying.
but at the same time, don't stick your head in the sand.
Oh, who are you talking to? Like
No,
what?
this is in generality, not
Wait a
just and
minute.
not solely to you, Claire. This
Yeah.
is for everyone. Be realistic and actually evaluate what is going on, big picture, little picture, and everything in between. Because if you want to say that it is not connected in some way, shape, or form, then you don't know how a society operates or exists.
No,
It
true.
is
We know.
all
Yeah.
about the interactions of the people, and it's
Hmm.
especially the interactions of people at different levels of that society.
It is, and definitely, you've got something there. I just don't want to see it come to a revolution again. I really don't. But on that quiz, do you have anything else? Because I think I'm done. How about you, boo?
I stayed in my position pretty well, I think.
I think we all did. I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Thank you, moderators, for helping out. Ricker, you need to behave yourself. Thank you, and thanks for apologizing. You are forgiven. Just don't do it again. And to make sure when you're questioned about it, we did not support your little revolution in the chat against the asylum. We did not. Neither Quiz or I, just so that's out there. Thank you, Jared, for coming up and having a great conversation on this. And thank you, Quiz, for having the idea that we needed to talk about this again, even
Yep.
though we got a little bit off topic. I still like these conversations about politics. I don't think people should be afraid of them. They're not a bad word. You need to get involved with your governments all over, okay? Because you can't just complain about stuff. You actually have to get active and do something about it. On that. Thanks, guys. I'm out. Bear's tired. Bear's going to bed. Bear's had a day. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Murdaugh. We'll be live again. And Thanks again, Quiz. Thanks,
No
Jared.
problem. Good night,
Not a
everybody.
problem.
Everybody out. We're gone.